Due to the conflicts that have been stirred up by a recent show with Tanaath and Drake, I understand that there's another show out there and they have declared war on the Silver Legion. And I was just wondering, Tanaath, if you could rather give us how you would respond to that, or what we should think, because people don't know what to think. So as commander of the Silver Legion, would you please give us some insight in that regard?
Well, we're no stranger to having people just randomly declare war on us, often over really ridiculous pretexts, and this is nothing new. So, yeah, it's really just more posturing.
Okay.
As for what to think or do about it, you really don't need to do anything. They'll go away on their own eventually.
Okay. It's not exactly like you're frightened of them or anything of that nature, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, no, we have people declaring war on us all the time. It's par for the course when you're coming in and telling people, no, you can't keep doing this crap. Cut it out. Yeah, we're not here to play the game. We're not part of their regular paradigm. And of course, when something comes that's so far from out of the system and out of the paradigm that you don't really know what to do with it, people's tendencies, both here on Earth and out in space, is to try to frame it in something that they understand and something that is part of the existing framework that they already operate in. But we're not. And no, we're not reptilians. We kill them too. Drake's not a reptilian. I'm not a reptilian. I'm actually a dragon. Very, very different things. Call a dragon a reptilian, you're probably going to end up turned into a pillar of charcoal. Yeah, no, we're not particularly concerned. Okay, and we don't play by the same rules that they do. And, well, generally how we react to this kind of declaration of war and attack is we just let them waste their times. They can't hurt us.
Well, that's good to know, because people have also made it sound like you have declared war on the Pleiadian family, and that is what he is calling for. That's why he declared war in the first place, more or less. But I don't think that's even true.
No, we've given the Alcyones numbers of warnings over the years that what they were going to do and what they were trying to do was going to end up burning them in the end. And this is nothing we're doing to them. We're just the messenger here. We're just the harbingers. The efforts they put into attempting to carry out the takeover of humanity and taking control of humanity's future, the more resources and efforts they put into that, the more of themselves they will lose in accordance with the efforts that they put in when this stuff finally starts hitting. And it's not a matter of, anybody's going to shoot them or declare war on them or any of these things that are normal to them and that are part of the known. We're talking a quantum wave collapse. The crap they're putting out against other people is going to be reflected back on them. The more they do that, the worse it gets for them. We're not shooting anyone. We're not out there fighting them. They're playing their own little games here and thinking that they can come steal a piece of the pie. No, you can't. It's not going to work that way. Stop trying. And I would tell all these people who are eager to become gods in the sixth dimension, consider that this universe has 12. 6th grade ain't graduation. Cut it out.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that, Tanaath. I think I will have that put out so people have more clarification on what is actually going on or not going on. Maybe I should put it that way. So I appreciate that. If you have anything else you want to add, please do so. Otherwise, we'll have this put out in a relatively short period of time.
No, I got some stuff I got to do today, but thanks for catching up.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time to answer this. And we'll
Yeah.
talk to you again soon when it's
I
possible.
will say one thing, and it's the same thing I always say, and that's no fear. Don't have any fear for any of this, because none of it's going to hurt you. If you give in to fear, you give it power over you. Don't.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to ask you one quick more question before you go. I think people need a little more clarification on what does it mean when you say that there's going to be a quantum collapse?
Oh, well. So, a very long time ago, something unexpected occurred in the multiverse. And when it did, it generated essentially a kind of a quantum state, almost like a simulation, but not quite. You may have heard theories about how we're living in a simulation and stuff.
Yes.
Kind of, but not really. There are simulated aspects to it, but it's not a simulation. Essentially, when the event happened, it generated a wave. And that wave had an amplitude that has narrowed at regular intervals throughout history. At first, that amplitude was universe cycles long. So the lifetimes of multiple universes long. And then after a certain number of passes of the wave, it shortened. And then it did a certain number of passes of the wave again, and it shortened, and it shortened, and it shortened. Right now, the wave is close to days long, and it keeps shortening. And we never really know when the wave is going to shorten, but eventually it's going to get to the point where it's hours long, and then minutes long, then seconds long, and then there's quantum collapse. And at that point, we are into a state where essentially anything can happen, anything may happen, and depending on sort of where we are in the simulation is what becomes real and is no longer the simulation on the other side of the wave. It's a kind of, it's a quantum troubleshooting state in which the multiverse is finding many ways to attempt to solve the central problem, which was, this insult or this injury that was introduced to the multiverse so long ago.
So how would that affect people's lives, I guess, is what I'm wondering myself.
We have no clue. That's the thing about a quantum collapse like this, is anything can happen. But the most important thing in a quantum collapse is to root yourself as firmly within your own core as you can to the things that you love and the things that you care about and the things that to you make life worth living and make existence worth continuing. And root as strongly as you can within love, within your connections to those who you love, within those things that are good. And keep your mind open and your possibilities, your horizons as large as you can, because anything can happen. It doesn't have to be bad. Whether it's bad or not will depend largely on where you're rooted. If you're rooted outside of yourself, in all the fear and all the chaos and all the anger and all the uncertainty and all the negative things, that's what you're putting your quantum pull into. If you're rooted inside yourself, into the love, into the connections with everything that you care about, that's where you're going. That's where you're pulling yourself to.
Oh, wow. And that's why I know the man called Gene Decode was talking about everyone should at this point in time write down and think of the things that you love, the things that you want, just like what you're saying.
Yeah,
so that
it's important. Other people are saying this. I'm not the only one. I might be the one who's coined the notion of the quantum collapse, but I'm not the only one saying this stuff. Everybody's got little bits of the truth, but look where you're rooting. Don't root outside of yourself. Some of these people are telling you, root to these authorities, root to these people who will, these other groups who will take you across the threshold. No, root within yourself and connect from within yourself using those bonds of love to the people you care about.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That clarifies quite a bit. And I think this will help people. And we'll put this out as a short little audio. So there is some response to what is going on. Thank you, Tanaath. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Gail.
This Free Range Productions program is presented for information purposes only. The opinions expressed may not necessarily reflect the opinions of the hosts, Free Range Productions, its principal supporters, or staff. Viewers are directed to use their own research and discernment with respect to any information presented here.